Hello and welcome back. Today we're going to do a BX316U, which is a Philips European radio. It's one of their midget ones from the 1950s. It's very light, doesn't weigh very much at all. I picked this one up over in Adelaide in May, and it was part of a big sale over there. You can probably hear the BJ Astor that I'm restoring crackling around in the background, and appropriately it's playing Cracklin' Rosie by Neil Diamond, so that's a bit of a coincidence. Must have silver mica disease, otherwise it's a fantastic radio. So I'm going to investigate getting some new mica caps for that or the equivalents. But back to this Philips radio, as I said, it doesn't weigh very much. It's been running for about 3 hours. So it occasionally gets very, very loud and crackly like that. And it's over the other side of the room too. So this one is styled very similar to the locally made Philips Mistral 4. This one is very nice, in a very nice condition. As you can see, I'm actually halfway through restoring it, but it's missing its back, the cardboard. The Australian ones seem to be a bit of a problem with the cardboard. The European one is a 2-band one. This one is medium wave and shortwave. There was various different models. Some of them had medium wave and FM. Others had medium wave, long wave and shortwave. What else can I say about it? This is in very nice condition. It's got its back and everything like that. It's all nicely labelled. Some of them had a phono input. So this is basically the lower end of the market, or the model range I should say. This one has suffered from the sun in Australia. So it's quite, this one suffered from the sun, so it's quite mottled on the top. It cost $80. It does work, but it gets very, very hot. Some of the caps have been replaced and others haven't. It does sound better than the local Philips. There is a size difference. The local radio is about 1 centimetre shorter, and the European set is about 2 or 3 centimetres longer. Okay, let's get into it. So the other thing that's a bit different about the case on this is this part down here. I've noticed it's got some stuff there. So this slots down in there and it sits much better underneath there. Whereas the local sets, let's move this out of the way carefully. So they don't have this part down here, and it slots in differently. So this won't, or maybe it will. No, it's too wide. Okay, So I'll put this out the way. I'm getting new lights, by the way, tomorrow or Wednesday, depending on when they're open, because it's Melbourne Cup Day on Tuesday. And it's going to be 30 degrees, which is very welcome. Anyway, a bit off track there. So this is a local speaker made in Australia. So I'm not quite sure why that's in there, whether the old one has burnt out or not. But I'll be able to put one of the J-car speakers in there by the looks of it. One of these. This should fit, or maybe not, because this tweeter section sticks out quite a bit. Anyway, we'll see you later. This has one of those funny, not sure whether it's something to do with the tuning, I think, in there. So it's about, so diameter and about so high. This has a aluminium frame inside around here. It doesn't seem to be connected to anything. Oh yes, it does. There's 2 screws on there. I'm not sure whether that's a... Bring this over. It's connected to this. So I'm not quite sure whether this is a rectifier. Oh, maybe it's the antenna. Maybe that's an AM antenna. So there's a little screw on the top of it. The tuning is by cable. So there's a couple of things there. Or the outer cable. So I don't want to redial this, that's for sure. Underneath, a few of the capacitors have been changed. This one, this one, this one, this one, and this one have been changed at some stage. As I said before, the radio got very, very hot. From memory, there is a main capacitor in here, up here. It looks of it. And it is 50 plus minus 250 24 and 200 something. Can't quite read that, so I'll have to check the schematic for that. The valves are held in by clamps, but I recognise a couple of them, I think. So there should be local equivalents. Ah, there's a huge resistor there. So maybe that's what's getting really hot. This doesn't have a transformer in it, which is why it's so light. One of those early resistor blocks and capacitors. Hopefully that is still good. This is not labelled at all, or the labelling has faded away over the years. So it looks pretty good. What I'm going to do now is check all the resistors and the capacitors. See if I can change the big electrolytic, which is down here. It's going to be a bit difficult to get to, but not as bad as the STC that I worked on. Not sure if you can see the gearing in there for the switch. So it seems like a 3-position switch. So it must be the tone. It's definitely a 3-position switch. Not quite sure what this... that looks like the... string. 6. No, maybe not. 6.5. So this wire is hanging off. Does it reach? Doesn't go over to there. So this wire is hanging off. And I can't see where it goes to. Oh, there's no. Definitely been soldered to something. Okay, let's get into it. Well, this was a really easy fix. It was just a 0.1 capacitor which was attached to this blue wire here. Get a screwdriver so I don't electrocute myself. So this is just hanging there and had been cut. Thought it might have attached down in there because there was something that was attached there and been cut off. So this 0.1 just goes to ground, but this is just floating there. So there is a mark up here where something was attached. It looks like there was a capacitor attached in there, according to the wiring diagram. So yes, so this is really an easy fix. It's getting very, very hot very, very quickly. And it's just these wire wound resistors here. So I'll have to be very careful with it. So I'll just lay it down here temporarily, very quickly.
Ο καθένας έχει μια ιστορία. Είναι αυτό που μας κάνει.
So that is an antenna, because as I move it around, it's coming in and out. That aluminium bar around it. Remember, there's no bottom on this. Well, it seems quite sensitive at the moment, even though there's a couple of computers on and I'm right in front of the computer screen. There's not very well shielded lights on. So it doesn't sound as good as a bigger radio like the Astors. In fact, it's quite lacking in bass. But it is working very, very, very well. And I haven't even done the electrolytics yet, so there is a bit of hum. So I'll get on and do the electrolytics. It's going to be quite difficult to do these. Turn it off. I'm not quite sure where I'm going to actually put them because they are quite large. Okay, so these are the electrolytics. It calls for 47 at, can't see the voltage on the chart. Anyway, these are 250s in here, and there's only room for 147. So I'm not quite sure where I'm going to fit them. I'm going to see if I can, no. This is actually a bit of a problem because there's actually nowhere to put these in here. This I put one, no, that's going to interfere with the switch. If I put them there, one there and one there maybe, or one on there, perhaps. But the serial number is there on the back of, underneath there. That could be okay there. There's a cap down in there. That's the aerial, and this one might have to sit over there. So the wire from this part, so the wire from here on this capacitor goes across and goes up underneath the chassis or onto the top of the chassis. Or does it? So this comes across from here to here. So what I could do is mount this one here and connect it up to this watt here and to this lug, this earth lug here, which you can't see. That looks like a plan, and I'll just very carefully remove the serial number, which is just on a piece of cardboard stuck to the back of this. And the other one, not sure whether, yep, I might be able to put this one in vertically up here. Okay, I'll get back to you. So I put the new capacitors in, and it's not all that pretty. The serial number was glued on with I don't know what, but my attempts to remove it in one piece came to naught. This capacitor didn't go in vertically into the space in there, so I had to put it over here, which is of course over a resistor, but it's not a wire wound one, so hopefully it won't overheat. There is plenty of room above the resistor when it's turned up the right way. So, okay, let's turn it on and see what happens. I have it on dim bulb. Glowing a little bit. Getting brighter, brighter. And it's calming down a bit. And the radio's coming on. So the dim bulb is glowing quite a bit.
That's Connie Hedegaard, and tomorrow we'll cross to Glasgow to bring you an update too. We also paid tribute to the late, great Bert Newton. That's it from us. Thank you so much for your company. Have a terrific day. It's news time, 9 o'clock.
Not sure what's causing that.
ABC News with Miriam McDonald. Good morning. Prime Minister Scott Morrison has been forced to defend his handling of the French submarine deal, denying he lied to the French president. He was blindsided by Australia's decision to tear up a $90 billion submarine contract with the country in favour of a nuclear-powered fleet. French President Emmanuel Macron replied, "I don't think, I know," when he was asked at the G20 meeting in Rome whether he thought Mr Morrison had lied. Mr Morrison says he understands the president's
Bit of hum,
but emphatically
but that could be just the computer and the general area.
Dinner together, as I've said.
To stop funding coal-powered fire plants in poor countries and made a vague commitment to see carbon neutrality.
Quarantine are arriving in Melbourne and Sydney today. The first flight into Melbourne from Singapore is due just after 10, and this was the moment passengers on the Qantas flight from Los Angeles were welcomed when they departed the US.
Welcome aboard your Qantas flight travelling through to Sydney this evening. We are so delighted to have you back on board. You are our first commercial international passengers in almost 2 years. Our entire crew are so excited and look forward to taking care of you down to Australia this evening.
The police are launching Operation.
Flights for more than 18 months are set to arrive at Melbourne Airport this morning as airlines ramp up their operations with the reopening.
Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report.
RSN 927.
And police have no suspect.
Meanwhile, Victorians can now buy COVID-19 rapid tests.
Operation Summer Save will run until March next year.
And scientists to help track turtles using a mobile phone app and website. It's part of a
21 and a low of 7. Sunny again tomorrow, a top of 24. And sunny with light winds on Tuesday, reaching 30. And podcast any of your favourite SEN shows and listen when you want. All
Powerhouse has gone down to New Zealand.
Right, let's try it on full power.
Win the World Series today. They hold a 3-1 series lead over the Houston Astros heading into Game 5.
Gee, the hum has dropped off a little bit. Volume control's not scratchy, but it's odd.
Five past 9. That's the latest news and sport.
This is Ben Reed. Are you planning to sell your home? How do you know what it's real?
Some high cloud across the north, light winds and afternoon coastal sea breezes. For Melbourne, a sunny day. We're heading for a top today of 24 degrees. Tomorrow, sunny 30. Wednesday, rain developing 26. Thursday.
Okay, so I'm going to turn it off and put it back together. So this seems to be a success. I'm not going to replace the cord because it's a bit difficult. The slot in the back doesn't allow for it, and it snakes down into that complicated chassis underneath. Or, well, not complicated, but hard to get to. So I'm going to turn the radio on. It's all back together again. The label has been removed. So here we go. It's on full power, which this time of the morning is around about 255 volts. Ridiculously high amount. Does take quite a long time to warm up. Then it suddenly kicks in.
Process of transitioning away from coal. So one community in particular was, or is rather, Port Augusta in South Australia. So in 2015 they lost their remaining power plant.
Receives commission as distributor. Product issued by Insurance Manufacturers of Australia.
We could all do with a little help at Christmas.
Honey, I can't find the...
Being the kind of doctor I want to be treated by, and I really hope that I can maintain that as the years become more busy. Because as a junior, you still have time. A lot of the senior doctors are...
I've noticed that the dial is a little bit out. The station I'm listening to, ABC Melbourne, should be a little bit more down here, and it's up here at 8, just on the 8 on 800, and it's actually 774.
Youth of children and the way they throw themselves at life and the emotion around
it. The war that has been waged since 9/11. 6 wars.
Not liking the $2.80 incentiviser. Look, if you like incentivize, it's hard to see any.
Mr Maguire give you evidence on the 13th of July 2018 as to whether you're either required to or should take any action in relation to the information that Mr Maguire.
This is News Radio, and it should be not about 11:10. Should be right down here, I think.
He was up 4. I mean, you could make a really strong call on it, and there were
paths along with pick-up and drop-off areas. Suburban Rail Loop Minister Jacinta Allen said about 70,000 passengers would use the first stage of the loop daily when completed. With convenient transport connections, new walking and cycling paths and world-class bike storage make it quick and easy for people to get to work. Study.
陳謝點請聽以下呢一節中港快訊。
中港兩地政府早前就通關召開對接會議，由參加會議嘅政府專家顧問中大副。
Magic. 3MP. It's quite directional. It's behaving more like a transistor radio with a stick antenna in it. Now, I don't we get anything on shortwave, but we'll try anyway. I don't have an aerial connected. Actually, I can connect an aerial. This definitely seems to be a 3-band with the 200 to 550 meters up the top, which of course is our AM band. Then we have the 50 to 130 down here. Then right down here we have 13 to 40 meters. So we'll try 50 to 130 meters. Which is very unlikely to pick anything up, except electrical interference. Some sort of beacon there. No, that's just interference. And this is the 13 to 40 meter band. Absolutely nothing. So that's the end of this video. Hope you've enjoyed it, and please subscribe, and I'll have some more videos coming very shortly. Now that we're out of lockdown and all the parts have arrived, I can get on with finishing these off. It is beginning to look like summer at long last with the Melbourne Cup tomorrow. And it's bright and sunny outside and looks like it's going to be for a couple of days. Tomorrow is going to be 30 after quite a cool spring where it was averaging around about 15 to 18 degrees each day. So it's going to be quite a shock tomorrow. Okay, so I'll sign off from Melbourne, Australia, and look forward to seeing you in a future video. Goodbye.